Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's podcast, After the Catch podcast with your boys Dustin and Devin. Devin, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
You are a bandwagon Bengals fan for the playoffs. Obviously,
That is a lie.
go check our old videos. You'll see the Buccaneers flag in the background. Bandwagon.
Wait, hold on. What? It's
Yeah.
always been this.
No, stop. Anyway,
I've been a Bengals fan since the beginning of this year.
no. Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the conference championship games, and we're going to try to not bring up our own teams. Not going to mention Tennessee. We're not going to mention the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wait, Tampa Bay?
Oh, get out of here.
Did
Okay.
you not see the?
No. And then we're going to talk about two possible outcomes with two big-time quarterbacks,
Yeah,
Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. We're going to just talk about, what could possibly happen. We're also going to make a little joke at Adam Schefter, of course. Leaking stuff too early. Congrats, man. Anyway, so we're gonna cover all that today. Hope you guys enjoyed. We also, before this, posted a quiz video. We did 2 quizzes. Very fun. We're gonna actually start incorporating that more into our onto our channel. We'll probably record. We might stack record quizzes, and then we'll just release them out as we go, and just throughout the year, whenever we want to release a video, and kind of just put out content for you guys. So make sure you check those out, and let's get started on this questionable weekend.
Well, as a Bengals fan, I don't think.
Stop it! You're weird. You're weird. We're moving on. Anyway, here we go. If you're such a Bengals fan, we're going to talk about the Bengals-Chiefs game first. Bengals went to Kansas City, played the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and won. Surprising. What was it? 21-3 at a point, right?
21-3, and then it was 21-10 in the going into the
into halftime?
second half.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 21-3.
So, there's a lot to talk about this game.
Yeah.
I want to start off why the Bengals won and why the Chiefs lost. So
because the Bengals had more points.
This fucking man. Okay, little Mr. Smartass. Then why did Tennessee lose? Because the Bengals had more points.
Look at you. You're already mentioning our teams. I told you not to mention our teams, and you're mentioning them.
That's right. All right. Time to get serious. Okay. So the reason why the Bengals won, and this is one thing I've been really liking about the Bengals throughout this entire playoffs, is that they've been very consistent in the sense of being able to score points. They are like... And they're not like a one-half team where they play good one half and they play shit the second half. This game right here, and even some of the games they played this throughout this playoffs, they consistently score. Like they scored 10 points in the first half, and then they scored in the second half 14 points, and then 3 points in overtime. That is a very consistent offense right there. And the offensive line only allowed 1 sack, which is a major upgrade from 9. The reason why and another reason why the Bengals won, and why the Chiefs lost, is because Eli Apple stopped Tyreek Hill. I think it was on the 3-yard line before going into the second half, and that was a big play. Like that was a game-changing play because it would have been 28-10 going in the second half, but they kept it to only 21-10 going into the second half. And one thing the Chiefs have and I actually wanted to pull this up here real quick. Give me 1 second here. Wait, hold on. Does my keyboard work? No, it doesn't work. I want to make a point here because I'm not sure if you've noticed, Dustin, but there's been a pattern I've been noticing with the Chiefs this offseason.
Really?
Sorry, this postseason. And that pattern is, I feel like it's going to be very obvious to everyone. Let me go to the games here. And honestly, I'm still amazed. Why is it showing me this? I hate when it does this shit. I I'm even surprised they came this far because I don't think anybody, especially at the beginning of the season, thought the Chiefs were going to get this far into the season.
Well, at the beginning of the season, yes. But then middle of the season, it's like, ugh.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Everyone's like, this is not the same team.
After getting ass whooped. Never mind. Can't mention it. Sensitive about that.
I don't know why this has to be so complicated. Why is, like, it just keeps sending me links to links.
Well, while he pulls it up, I'll kind of give my little breakdown.
Okay, never mind. There wasn't really a pattern.
No, there wasn't a pattern.
Not with this game, at least. Hold on. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, so the Chiefs came out swinging. It looked really good. But the part that killed the Chiefs was not anticipating defensive adjustments by the Bengals. Like, the Bengals came out in the second half, made some defensive adjustments, and the Chiefs just didn't. Andy Reid got outcoached. That's as simple as it gets. Yes, Mahomes did not look good in the second half. But when you, like, aren't prepared for something, you're not gonna, like what, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, yeah, it's simply like what the team was running did not match up well against what the Bengals were giving them in the second half. The Bengals adjusted, the Chiefs didn't, and the Chiefs lost because of it. And there was times where, oh my gosh, Mahomes sat back there for, it felt like an eternity. Look at that sack. That was like 17-yard sack at the end of the fourth quarter. Mahomes literally sat back there for 20 seconds. Literally. Now, they didn't score a touchdown. Fine. But, I mean, there has to be adjustments made. Now, I feel like that they just didn't make the adjustment. They got outcoached. I thought the Chiefs' defense was solid. Like, they were put in bad scenarios at times. Mahomes had 2 interceptions, and they made him kick field goals at times. That's one thing. That's been the negative about the Bengals this postseason, really, is they've kicked a lot of field goals in times where they really shouldn't have. But no one has put them away yet. No one has delivered a kill shot. The Raiders had the opportunity. They could have scored multiple touchdowns. They threw an interception at the end of the game. They could have scored a touchdown and won the game. They throw an interception in the end zone. The Titans. I know, I'm not supposed to bring up my own team, but it's just a pattern. The Titans. They lose by 3 after 3 interceptions, have the ball at the end of the game. They could drive down, kick a field goal, win this game after a terrible performance by their quarterback, and they lose. They lose. Joe Burrow didn't even throw a touchdown. You lose. They shouldn't have lost that either. The Chiefs up 21-3. They're making them kick field goals. They kicked 1, 2, 3. That's 4 field goals on the day. They lose. If you kick field goals against the Chiefs usually punish you. They didn't make adjustments, and it hurt them. That's the true meaning behind this game. You didn't make adjustments. They did. You lost. You got outcoached.
Not just that, I will give the Bengals defense for stepping up big time, because not only did they defensively step up as a whole, let me reword that. I don't feel like just one position stepped up. I felt like the entire defense stepped up, especially the second half. Like the first half, like you were saying, I think adjustments was the biggest thing. First 3 drives, they're getting smoked. You're looking at this game as a Bengals fan, or even just someone from the outside looking in, you're like, damn, Chiefs are on fire. Honestly, I was like, the Chiefs are playing like this, they're about to win like 52-10. And I was like, there's no team that's going to be able to stop this. Second half comes around, they make adjustments. They're getting to Patrick Mahomes. They ended the game with 4 sacks. Defensively, let me tell you, I think what impressed me the most was that secondary. The secondary's ability to just lock everyone down in the second half was impressive. And not just that, I really want to look at that overtime play. I'm not sure if you remember, Dustin, but that overtime play with the defender, Jesse Bates, actually
picked it off.
Yeah, where he stuck his hand when Tyreek Hill was trying to catch it
and knocked it up. Yeah,
it knocked it up, and the defender was right there, caught the ball. The moment I saw that, I was like, "This game's over. This game is over." That was such an impressive play from both players. Jesse Bates' ability to knock the ball up, and I don't remember who the
Von Bell's interception.
Okay, Von Bell is awareness to know where the ball is at, to grab that ball, get a couple of yards, and then provide you a an opportunity for the ball. I was very impressed with this team. This team looked a lot better this week than last week.
But another difference is, and this comes with the adjustment game, the Chiefs started to look like the Chiefs a couple weeks ago also gave up an 18-point lead against the Bengals. And I thought to myself when, halftime, I was like, look, they got a lead here. They didn't score right there. That hurts them. They don't have an 18-point lead going into halftime, but they still have a good lead going into halftime. They were up 18 at some point in this game. I felt like their best chance to win this game was continuing to run the football. They were running the football all over Cincinnati. And I said this when Tennessee played them, and I said that, and I felt like you could definitely see it right now. Cincinnati started the game, they were getting ran up on, and then when they tried to sneak up a little bit, they got these big plays. Kansas City started getting these big chunk plays, and you're like, okay, here we go. All Kansas City has to do is continue to run the football, and they're causing them so many problems. Right? They stopped running the football. It almost looked like they were scared that they were going to come back, so they tried to get that kill shot. Try to get that kill shot. And then they kept, 2 turnovers by Mahomes. And, just no more movement of the football. It felt like they weren't running the football anymore. And that's the part that kills me. Why? Why do you not just run the football down their nose? Because as soon as they come up, you have the ability to hit any throw on the field. That's what I don't understand. I hate to mention them again. The Titans game. The Titans physically could not threaten the Bengals down the field. The Bengals came and stopped the run. The Chiefs were running the football, and the Bengals were threatening, like they were coming up. They were slowly moving up, and the Chiefs did not hurt them. They didn't even, they could have just taken one deep shot when they creeped up, but instead they completely disband away from the run. Whatever, bro. No one needs to run the football. We got Patrick Mahomes. And they paid for it because they just sat back there. They did the thing. Them not being patient is what hurt them. The patience of this team is what hurt them at the beginning of the year, and it's what hurt their season. It's what the end of their season. The inability to be patient, and that's something that they have to fix. It doesn't matter who you have on the field. If you cannot be patient and you cannot develop and take what's given to you, you are going to eventually lose to a good team. Bengals are a good team. It shouldn't have happened, and it showed. You had way more talent, and it showed the first half. Just can't happen, man.
I agree with you. I think that they, and honestly, I think them playing it slower in the second half. They played great the first half. I mean, they looked incredible. They were moving down the ball fast, and like you said, I think they very well still could have easily won with a 21-10 lead. That's still 2 points, 2 touchdowns before they even get a lead. And
that's so without you scoring at all. That's without you doing nothing with the ball.
Exactly, and I agree that they should have ran the ball. They should have taken the time. You've got an 11-point lead. Go ahead and eat up the clock. Move down the field slowly. And this doesn't mean you have to chuck it every play. Get a couple of run plays in. Take your shots whenever it's available. Slowly move down the field. Just make sure that you get some type of points when you're down there, because even a field goal makes it a 2 points to tie it, 3 points to be in the lead. And I mean, 3 points has been a big difference in this postseason. So I mean, take whatever you can get. But them sitting there trying to, like you said, just trying to take this kill shot, taking all these deep shots, and it just seems so unnecessary. Take your time with it. You've got the lead. Never mind. Not wear the defense down, but the game is under your control. You've got the fucking lead. The Bengals are the ones that need to score. You take your time. Make them go at your pace. But when you force the ball down the field that many times, I understand you got Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, it's just one of those situations where you got to play smarter and not harder, in my opinion. I think, Chiefs could have easily won this game, but, still want to give props to the Bengals defense for, preventing and adjusting to how they were playing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The adjustment is what hurt them. I felt like the Chiefs offense is so good that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and they can win. You know what I mean? Like, but until someone like overloads one specific thing, you can do the other thing. Do the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have capable running backs. You've shown it. You've shown the ability to run the football. Shoot, Mahomes has shown the ability to run the football. There's no reason to stop running the football. That's what I loved about the Rams game against the Bucks. The Rams ran the ball. Even if it let the Bucks come back a little bit, it was during that time. And as soon as they came back, boom. They're like, all right, we're still here, by the way. It's not like we just suck now. Like, you know, they knew they had to get rid of that time off the clock, and they did. And you know, and that's eventually what it was. That lead should have never disappeared. Should have never disappeared. Yeah, because your defense played good at the beginning. That's another thing. Is like people want to come out and say, "Oh, Chiefs defense stinks." Like Chiefs defense was on the field like the whole second half. It felt like. I mean, you look up and they're on the field again. Like it just can't happen, especially against a dynamic offense like that, where you have to cover every blade of grass. Because the Bengals can hit every throw on the field. The Bengals did that. That's what I love about the Bengals offense is like they have all the weapons in the world. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They have a really good running back that's also really good in the receiving games. They easily could just say, man, we're just going to throw the football. No, they ran the football. Mixon had 21 carries for 88 yards.
Well, I was impressed at how well they were able to run that ball.
And that's what I'm saying. They're willing to do it all. That's the difference. They are willing to do it all. Why can't the Chiefs do the same? Why do they? It hurts them. It really does.
And I agree with you. Like they have two very capable running backs. I mean, McKinnon was doing a solid job of running the ball. They got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like you can create up so much dynamic plays. And I understand you have Hill and Kelsey, but like they're not the only players on your team. Or McCall Hardman, like. You got some good running backs in the backfield,
and that's another
really
thing.
Help you just beat the clock, like.
Why can't you run the football with those receivers too? They're like, all speed demons. Go ahead, hand the ball off to McCall Hardman. Hand the ball off to Tyreek Hill. Go ahead. Use them like that. That's fine. At least you're on the football. No one said you have to be the powerhouse team to run the football halfback dive every play. No, you could run a reverse or a jet sweep with Tyreek, or you could run something creative. You don't have to just run. We're not saying hand the ball to your running back and shut up. Just run the football. Whatever way you want to. Who cares? Run the football. Your offensive line looked good, I felt like. Like the 4 sacks, like Mahomes had all day. He just eventually got sacked. Like, let's be honest. You know what I mean? It's not like he was, like, dying under pressure like Burrow was a week ago. It was he was waiting, and finally got sacked. That's not on the offensive line. Like, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? He got sacked 4 times in an overtime game. That's whatever. Especially when he holds the ball for, like, literally 20 seconds and then gets sacked. That's on him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I automatically take 1 off. I don't even remember the other 3 on the top of my head, but that's for sure 1 I'm taking off. That's not on the offensive line. They held for 20 seconds. Shoot! Held for 20 seconds. They had 20 seconds inside the red zone, and they literally had to kick a field goal after 1 play. That's how long he waited. There's no reason for it. They should have run the football in all different aspects. They played. The offensive line was good. Their defense was good. I thought their defense was good. Even if you tell me that the Kansas City Chiefs gave up 27 points through an overtime game, I'm sitting there like defense did their part. They won the game, right? You're telling me the Chiefs won the game if the Bengals only scored 27 through an overtime game, right? No, They lost. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Not just that, it honestly blew my mind that the Bengals held them to this much. I was honestly shocked how unprepared the Chiefs were to sit there and make adjustments, and like you said, the Chiefs just simply got outcoached.
Simply.
And yeah, exactly. And I want to emphasize that word simply. Like, it doesn't take a genius to know that if you have a lead like that, you just play the clock. You play the clock, sure. If they score a couple of points, then you might have to start picking it up, throw a pass downfield. But when you make that your main priority and you're trying to sit there, score as much as possible, like, you're playing dumb football at that point. You gotta play it smart, play the clock, take your shots when you can. Like, there's no rush. You already scored 21 points. You got a 2-score lead. You're fine. Play the clock, get downfield. If you can get points, take it. Even if it's a field goal, just take it.
And that's what I don't understand and like another thing is like going for the touchdown before the second half, before halftime. You're up 21. What was the score at that time?
21-10.
20. You're up 21-10. You can go up by 15, right? 21-10.
Mm.
No, you'll go up by 14. You can go up by 14 points, 2 whole touchdowns, and you get the ball after halftime. And you're going to go for a touchdown because you are scared that they're going to come back again.
Was that a 4th down play?
No.
Or was it like...
There was 5 seconds on the clock, no time, or maybe 1 timeout left. You have to, what are you doing on the 3?
I'm taking the points.
I'm taking the field goal. It's a playoff game. Take the points. Take the field goal.
I agree. I 100% agree. I am taking those 3 points. Like, sure, you got the momentum going on, but, like, it just goes back to playing smart football. It just completely goes back to playing that.
I mean,
Eli Apple stopped Hill. Eli Apple bodied that man.
The play wasn't even that great. What exactly are you trying to do?
Right, like...
You're telling me you have Travis Kelce, big body, you have running backs that have been running the ball the whole game, and you're going to throw a quick out with no blockers to Tyreek?
Right, thinking that he...
if it was man-to-man, it would have worked maybe because you're beating your guy all the way across, but Eli Apple was sitting there. He wasn't moving.
And he had help. He had help literally like 2 feet away from him. Even if he did get past Eli Apple, he would have not gotten any farther.
Let's not judge the play call. Like, you know what? That's their play call, whatever. Maybe that was their best play call for the goal line. But, I don't care. You're up 21-10. I'm kicking the field goal. You could say hindsight's 20/20. But I, at the moment, said kick the field goal.
Yes, you've already got the lead.
Because if you don't get that, you're guaranteed no points. You're guaranteed no points. 5 seconds is way too late. If it was 8, 9 seconds, fine. Throw 1 in the end zone. If you don't get it, you have 1 more timeout. Boom.
Field goal.
And then you get your field goal still. You have a chance. 5 seconds. This is it.
Unless it's a run play. Unless it's a run play, because I feel like run plays are. Well, not. I feel like run plays are faster to execute. It's a hike, 1, maybe around the 2-second mark. You're handing off the ball. Even then, that's kind of risky.
Yeah, because if there's a pile up, you're not getting up and snapping the ball. You're not getting that much time left. You're really not.
Unless you call an immediate timeout, but
there's no guarantee though.
Right, and let's say he's fighting for it, and he's trying to push over the pile, and it takes over 5 seconds. I don't know. I think they just got too greedy. They were not playing smart football there. They were just purely basing it off of their emotions. They're like, okay, yeah, we got a lot of momentum going. Let's throw the ball. We can get this, and it costs you 3 points.
And that's the second time in the playoffs. That's the second time in the playoffs a team has hurt themselves in time management. Time management or just inability to make adjustments. It's crazy, man. And people say coaching, like they get you like it's about the player. No, coaching is a big aspect of these games, in these playoff games. Like coaching can be the difference. If there's an equal playing field, coaching can make a difference. And it probably will. It probably will a lot of games.
Yeah, because looking at this game, oof. I was gonna say the Chiefs are more talented on offense, which I think, in the aspect of the wide receiver core, yes. Quarterbacks is close. I'll give it to Mahomes. Running backs, I'm personally taking Joe Mixon, but
offensive line is clear and obvious.
Oh yeah, exactly. Offensive line is clear. I'm taking the Chiefs' offensive line all day.
Clear.
It doesn't make sense to me. They should have played. I don't know. This Chiefs team is not the same team that played 2 years ago when they could play like that. When they could sit there, take all these deep shots. People have figured them out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is they are the same team, but there's a scheme for it now. That's the difference. It's because there's a lot of people are playing like this. They are the same team. There's a scheme for it now. You have to play in all aspects of the game. That's exactly what people are saying. Like Like, for example, 2 years ago, the Chiefs literally could do whatever they want on offense because no one knew how to play it. Now it's like, a lot of people are playing the same way. Pass first, hit every throw on the field, make them cover every blade of grass. A lot of people are playing that way. It's coming straight from the college days right now. That's exactly where it's coming from. But but now at the point where people are like starting to understand it a little bit more, they have to find other ways to win. And right now they just aren't. Like the Buffalo game, they ran the ball so well. You know what I mean? They found other ways to win. Like they ran the football, including Mahomes. Mahomes ran all over the field, and that's why I'm looking at this game. I'm like, look, Mahomes is gonna run all over. Like Mahomes is gonna run all over the place. He's gonna make every play. Right? This is Mahomes. Like Mahomes did not have an interception in the AFC Championship game yet. He's been there 3 times. This is his 4th game.
And he threw 2 of them.
He threw 2 of them. He wasn't running as much. They did not use everything to their advantage. The point of spreading them out so much is that you could literally run the football like that. You could do whatever you want on every single blade of grass. You spread them out and did nothing with it. Did nothing. You didn't run the football.
The Bills are the perfect example. Actually, you know what? I want to go on the whole how the league has really turned into a very pass-heavy league. At this point, almost every single team can pass pretty well. But I think what the difference maker is if a team can run the ball well and they can pass well, that's going to be a championship team, and that is a team that is going to win. And that's why, and remember, I'm pretty sure you remember me saying this, when the Bills playing throughout the season, I said, I do not like this team winning. Maybe the first round and definitely not the second round. And that was purely because of their running game, because I did not like Devin Singletary or Zach Moss running the ball because they ran very inefficiently. Come playoff time, they're sitting there against the Patriots, one of the best defenses in the league, and they ran that ball down the throat while complementing it with the pass. I just feel like...
And it took a perfect game from the Chiefs to beat them. They were still running the football well against the Chiefs. It literally took a perfect game from the Chiefs to beat them. And that's what I'm saying. The Bills improved mightily as soon as they started running the football better. The Chiefs ran the football the first 2 games way better. I mean, I just don't understand what makes you look at it and be like, yeah, this just ain't it. Pretty sure they were averaging 6 yards a carry.
The Chiefs?
I'm pretty sure they were averaging 6 yards a carry. I could check the box score right here. I'm pretty sure they were averaging 6. Oh my God, 5.8 yards a carry.
Wow, and the Bengals only averaged 4.2.
Oh my gosh. And look at the running backs. The running backs themselves. McKinnon's averaging 5.4. Clyde is averaging 6. McCole Hardman was averaging 9 on 2 carries.
That's insane.
You got to run the football, man. You got to run the football.
It's crazy how this playoffs has been really purely decided on who's going to play smarter.
Yeah.
That's really how it's come down to.
Well, I mean, congratulations to the Bengals, man. You beat 3 tough teams. The Vegas game was close. The Titans game was really close, and then you beat the Chiefs on the road. 2 of the games on the road. You beat the 1 seed. You beat the 2 seed. Congratulations. That's a big accomplishment for a young team too. It'll be interesting how they play against the Rams. And obviously, we're not even gonna talk about the Super Bowl right now. We're gonna break it down next week on our Super Bowl special podcast. We're gonna do that next week. I'm not even gonna mention it.
We're gonna go in depth. We're gonna talk. We're gonna go individual.
Yep, exactly.
Right, Chase and Ramsey. I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah. And I have a hot take for that one, but that's not for this podcast.
We're gonna.
I think it's time we move on to the 49ers and Rams, though. This is an interesting game here. There's a lot of things to take away from it.
Yeah.
And I called it. I freaking called it. What did I say Matthew Stafford was going to do?
Throw a pick, but was that on him?
I mean, that's fair. But, look, still a pick. I was waiting for it. I don't think this is Matthew Stafford's best game at all, though. Matthew Stafford looked okay this game. And honestly, the Rams should be thanking the 49ers for even winning this game. They got lucky. I mean, this game was the definition of lucky. Because at the 49ers, I mean, I don't know what in God's name Stafford was doing on that deep pass. I think it was to Van. It was either the Van Jefferson or Odell.
It was to Van Jefferson, dropped by Tart.
That throw was awful. That throw, it was either two things. He did not have enough arm power for that, which could definitely. I feel like that's what it was. Well, that and two, he threw that ball way too late. Because
It could have been the wrong route by the receiver, to be fair.
Which is true, but when you watch that play, that was severely underthrown. I thought he was gonna. I thought the 49ers wrapped the game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, oh, he got that. Once I saw the ball dropped, I was like, how in the hell? And it's funny because right after that, Matthew Stafford is chucking that ball down the field, and they are moving. And that is one thing I do like about Matthew Stafford, though. He fucked up on one play. Luckily, there was no repercussions because of it. But it's like, all right, let me tighten up. Water off the back, on to the next. And that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly why the Rams won the game.
Yeah.
And I think it's very impressive on the Rams' part. The 49ers, I know this is some off-season talk. I just want to say this real quick, though. Trade Jimmy G for draft picks. You have Trey Lance. Start him next year. Get some value out of Jimmy G. And you literally will have yourself a potential Super Bowl team in the upcoming years if Trey Lance develops well, in my opinion. Now, for the Rams, I'm excited. I'm super excited about this Super Bowl. Honestly, I would not mind either team winning. Obviously, I would prefer the Bengals, but this is going to be a really good game. I'm excited for this one. But yeah, I think this was a good game. This was a really good game, and a close one too.
Yeah. So, when I was looking at this game, going into it, I was a little worried about the Rams. I was worried about two things, really. 49ers have your number as of late history. They've won, I believe, 6 straight it was. And, it seems like the 49ers, it seemed like the 49ers could just counter everything you could do. And another thing was, this is a big stage. Stafford's never been here before. Stafford's never played in an NFC championship game or any championship game. And I was a little worried about that. I was really questioning to see how he came out. He looked a little off at the start. And he made some bad decisions throughout the game, but I thought overall he looked good. He 31 for 45, 337, 2 touchdowns. That's what you ask out of your quarterback. That's exactly why they traded for him. They couldn't get it out of Goff at the end of the day. Matthew Stafford put them over the hump, whether we like it or not. He put them over the hump. You could say, oh, Odell, Von Miller, sure, but their defense was already good. Before Von Miller, or great, I should say, before Von Miller, and they had Robert Woods before Odell came. So, it's truly Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford put them over the hump. So, first of all, congrats to Matthew Stafford. I think, overall he played a pretty good game. Obviously, some bad throws, but I think that's just, nervousness and, that type of stuff, right. which we could say about everyone. I mean, Joe Burrow didn't look good at the start either, at the start of his game, but he came out and finished game well. They're both in that scenario. But I would say, watching this game, this might have been the first time I ever watched a game and I thought the worst coach won the game. Sean McVay almost sold the game by himself. He had 2 terrible challenges.
Oh, those were awful challenges.
He also had no timeouts with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter when you're losing. How?
And 49ers had all three. All 3 of them.
You cannot have no timeouts going into with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter when you're losing the game. I told myself, I was like, if I'm a coach, like, McVay needs to score a touchdown, defensive stop, and score a touchdown before he can even kind of breathe. Because if they lose, it's on his ass for not having timeouts. And that's what I was going to... I was expected to come in here and say that. I was going to come in and say, look, I blame every inch of this loss on Sean McVay. But they won the game. So I say my piece about Sean McVay, but he won the game.
Honestly, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you though. That's something that he's got to tighten up real quick coming into this next game, because they are not playing a 49ers offense. They are playing a more elite offense, and one that has a quarterback that can throw well. And you give the Bengals, if the Bengals have to lead in the fourth quarter and they have 3 timeouts and you have 0, I just don't. I trust the Bengals offense to run it down the field. I think that, like, when they look at this game, they especially like you said, Sean McVay. I mean, looking at those calls, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I understand, like, on some calls, they're really tough to see, and you throw the challenge flag as like, okay, you know what? Let's just see what happens with it. This should have not been called at all. You should have not thrown anything. You should have saved it. You should have saved his timeouts and stuff like that.
I will say, though, that he did. There was a little bit of mental warfare in that. I mean, you have to think about it. He was 0-6 in the past 6 against the 49ers against Kyle Shanahan. He also was in the same coaching tree as Kyle Shanahan. And, people were talking, is Kyle Shanahan in your head? All this, all that. I think he's one of the best coaches in football, no doubt in my mind. He's a great coach. He doesn't usually make those mistakes. I was quite shocked, which is why I'm not worried about it, for the Super Bowl or whatever. But I just saw that and I was just like, wow. Like, I think this kind of proved that, Kyle Shanahan was in his head. Like, he was nervous. He tried to get every single thing he was so focused on, like, trying to get his team one advantage that he almost hurt his team. And that's the only reason I mentioned it. I'm not, like, shitting on him as a coach in general. I'm just saying, like you could kind of see the nervousness in him. And I mean, you got to think about it. He went to a Super Bowl, right? And in that Super Bowl, he got absolutely outcoached against Bill Belichick, which is going to happen. It's Bill Belichick. And he's been outcoached the last 6 games or whatever it is against the Rams. That can't happen. That's Kyle Shanahan. I meant the Rams. Yeah, the 49ers. Yeah, that can't happen. That's Kyle Shanahan. That you're so So I think he was just trying to make a move, and they just weren't really great. I think there was a little bit like pressure to him, like I have to get this. So I think he'll be okay for the Super Bowl. But I like I like this game overall. I thought the 49ers they felt good in this game. Like this is how they wanted the game to play, low scoring. They wanted to have a chance at the end of the game. They had it. At the end of the day, the difference maker, the pass rush for the for the Rams. Rams' defensive line is so good, and it's getting so hot right now. Like, it is at its all-time best right now, and you could see it. I mean, every game, they are just causing... I mean, that last drive, Jimmy Garoppolo had a guy all over him all 3 plays until that pick. You know what I mean? And even that pick, it was all guys all over him. And that's what made a difference. And I don't want to get too deep, but I think that's what makes this team so good. Like, yes, their offense is good and it's dynamic and all this, but that's another thing because we have to consider is the Rams have played them so much. I mean, the 49ers have played the Rams so much. Like, they know. I mean, it's also the same coaching tree. Like, they both know each other. You know what I mean? They both have similar offenses. If you look at them, they're similar offenses. So they have an advantage against each other. They do, and that's why I'm not worried that they only scored 20. I'm not worried at all. I think whatever, that's fine to me. So
it's a divisional game.
Yeah, they're crazier. They're all crazier every time.
Right.
Look at the Colts losing to the Jaguars.
It's gonna be close.
Colts losing to the Jaguars is a perfect example. The divisional games, but the better team won the game. And
absolutely.
And both teams are playing their best ball right now. Let's be honest. Both teams are playing hot. They've had some really good wins in these playoff runs. So it was a really good game. I was happy with it. I thought the 49ers, 49ers were good. Like I said, good too. They were, running the football a little bit, doing some Debo stuff. Jimmy G was like, all right. He wasn't terrible. Like, he didn't hurt him until the end, and eventually he hurt him. And that's how it's going to be, and that's unfortunate. But that's how it is with non-elite quarterbacks. Is they're eventually going to hurt you. And we've seen it by multiple different people. We've seen it by Ryan Tannehill. We've seen it by Jimmy G. We've seen it by Carson Wentz. Eventually, they're going to hurt you. And it's just so happy that he hurt you at the end of the NFC Championship game, 5 minutes away from possibly going to the Super Bowl. So it's unfortunate, but it was a really good game. I think the better team won. And this matchup in the Super Bowl is crazy good. I love the matchup. I think it'll be a good one.
I think so, too. I think it's... Honestly, I would have never guessed the Bengals being there, just because of O-line concerns. But I mean, the O-line did step up,
Yep.
and as long as they keep stepping, I mean, they have no choice. I know we're dipping here in the Super Bowl. I just want to say this real quick though. They have no choice but to step up. Like they stepped up this week. They have to take a fucking leap of faith this upcoming 2 weeks because, like you said, that defensive line is no fucking joke.
Yeah, playing his best ball.
No fucking joke.
He's playing his best ball for sure.
One thing I do want to say though is if you're a 49ers fan, don't get discouraged. Honestly, I know we said this going into this year because of Matthew Stafford, but I would continue to watch out for the 49ers and every single team in that division besides the Seahawks, because I feel like the Seahawks are preparing for a rebuild, especially if Russell Wilson does decide to leave. I think that team is preparing for a rebuild, but the 49ers can very well be one of the best teams in the league and maybe even the best team in the NFC next year if they make proper moves. For me, I'm trading Jimmy G. I'm getting some picks. Maybe you even trade Jimmy G for a quarterback. You get a quarterback that is just good. Just good, because I think Jimmy G is decent. He is a
No, they don't need a quarterback. Trade Lance.
Oh, shit, that's right. Oh, my God, and that's what makes it better. They have a young quarterback that they can develop, who has played a couple games this year, who has looked very promising. Now you give him a full season, you trade Jimmy G for extra draft picks, you're set. You are absolutely set. And not just that, after seeing what Deebo Samuel is capable of, what Elijah Mitchell is capable of, Brandon Ayuk, all these players, your defense, like everything is just coming together. Like this team is looking like a Super Bowl caliber team in the next coming years. I'm just saying, watch out for them. Watch out for the Rams. Watch out for the Cardinals. That division is going to be, I think, the best division of football for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too deep in the offseason, but yeah, they could, get some picks for Jimmy. Try to keep your team together because I realistically think you add some pieces in the secondary, in the draft, and you have a good team. Your offensive line's good. I think Trey Lance. I think one thing that people aren't even talking about is people talk about how hard it is to guard the 49ers offense because they can do this. They can do all these things. Trey Lance has wheels.
Oh my God! Thank you. You said it.
Trey Lance can run.
And Jimmy G can't, not as well as Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a dynamic quarterback, and that's what's going to put him. Oh my God!
And that could easily that's going to add a different little taste to their offense. So add some pieces to the secondary. Keep your team together. Keep the majority of pieces together. Maybe add someone if you can. I don't know their cap situation. We'll look deep into that in the offseason, obviously. But yeah, they do have a bright future. I do like it, but let's try not to go too deep.
I'm just getting super excited about it because it's just like this offseason is going to be wild.
We have a lot of plans for it. It's going to be wild in the NFL. It's going to be wild for after the catch. Like, we have some really good plans for the offseason. I'm looking forward to it. And we're going to start our offseason little discussion right now.
Actually, right now, yeah.
So
let's talk about let's talk about my team. Let's start off with my team because I think I like to talk about this one first, only because the second player we are going to be talking about, I think, is going to have a bigger impact depending on what he does.
What happens,
Because with this quarterback, Tom Brady is the person we're going to be talking about. His only impact is going to be really on the Bucs. Well, I mean, you could go in the deep and look at the NFC too, because I feel like the NFC is weaker than the AFC, and I feel like the AFC will only get better because there are so many elite quarterbacks, young quarterbacks that look like they are on the progression to become elite. And I'm like talking about close to Mahomes' elite and the ability to throw the ball, to run the ball. And that's one thing I've noticed lately is that a lot of quarterbacks in the AFC, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Let's not forget about Lamar Jackson still, because he's incredible running the ball. He just sucks at passing. These quarterbacks are up and coming. Okay, sorry, I just got a message. But these quarterbacks are up and coming. Not only do they have the ability to throw the ball, but they can run, and that is starting to become a trend in the league of these quarterbacks that are able to run. But kind of getting back on track here. Tom Brady and what it means for the Bucs. Yep. So, as you and I discussed before, to start off with what we think is going to happen.
Okay.
And for me personally, it's tough. It's so tough. I think. Damn, I'm not sure if you have an answer yet. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. To be honest,
I mean,
I'm in a 50-50 situation.
Yeah, I know. As a Bucks fan, you want him to stay, obviously, because if you stay, you know you have a chance.
Well, actually,
stop.
Like, look.
No one wants to lose. No one wants to lose. Like, okay, fine. You might look forward to a rebuild. Like, you know a rebuild's coming, so you like the young piece that you have. Fine. But you don't want to willingly rebuild. Like, you would like to stay at the top every year. Of course. Everyone wants to.
Yes. Like, trust me, I would love to, but I would be open to a rebuild.
Sure.
I would be absolutely open to a rebuild. If Tom Brady retires, I'm getting excited for the rebuild.
Sure, of course.
Tom Brady's gone. Let's see which players move on from us. Let's see what if we stick with Kyle Trask. Let's see what Kyle Trask can do. I've been excited since we've gotten Kyle Trask. I've been excited to see what he can do. I think we stick with him, and I think we see what he's capable of for maybe a year or two. And if that doesn't work, or if we don't stick with Kyle Trask, we trade for somebody. And there's been a lot of talk about us trading for a couple of elite quarterbacks. One of which was Deshaun Watson, which I think is a very interesting choice, but I think it would be a very good choice because when was the last time we had a dynamic quarterback like Deshaun Watson? The closest person we've had to that was Jameis Winston. But he was dynamic in almost every wrong way possible. He was dynamic for other defenses because he would throw a shit ton of interceptions. But Deshaun Watson, who can throw and run the ball efficiently, the biggest question is, what are we going to have to give up for him?
Yeah.
And he's still young, too.
It's going to be a lot. Probably the most on the available.
I agree.
Probably the most available. But, I don't know. I personally, the way I look at it is, I've said this for years and he hasn't. But what does Brady have to, what does Brady have left to do? You know what I mean? Like, he's won every Super Bowl. It feels like he's won every year. He is always in the MVP talk. He has a good team. And this year it feels like the Bucks are starting to lose that team right now. Like, it feels like, with cap space and who's available, it feels like they're going to start lose some pieces. Don't get me wrong, they could easily rebuild it back. Like, they could easily get pieces back or draft new players to fill these spots, and they'd be just fine with Tom Brady. But, to me, it's just like, do I think this team, the way it looks right now, could compete for a Super Bowl with the likes of the Rams next year? Or, I don't know. I don't know right now. They definitely could compete for a Super Bowl, but I don't know if I would say they're my favorite to win the Super Bowl, So, I just don't see what is Brady's motive to come back. Now, before Adam Schefter ruined it for everybody, there was no motive. Now there's a motive that everyone's like, yay, finally Brady's retiring. Now he's like, maybe he's tempted just to come back to shut everyone up because that's what Brady does. But I hope he doesn't. I hope he retires. I'm sick and tired of Tom Brady. I'm as a Titans fan, he's always in the AFC, as his whole time in the AFC. It feels like he's there every year ruining everyone else's chances, and I'm just sick of it. So if he could just retire in general, I don't have to worry about it anymore. That'd be cool.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I think Dustin's just upset that Tom Brady decided to choose Tampa Bay over the Titans. But
actually, the Titans chose Ryan Tannehill over Tom Brady. Let's not get it twisted.
Oh, say that one more time.
The Tennessee Titans chose Ryan Tannehill over Tom Brady.
Oh!
How many Super Bowls do you think the Titans would have if they took Tom Brady?
Oh my God, they probably would have won it this year.
They probably would have twice. They would have won it last year, too.
Yeah, that's facts. Did y'all have Julio last year?
No.
I think y'all would have maybe gone to the AFC Championship. Because who won it last year? Oh, yeah, the Bucks.
Yeah, so you guys definitely wouldn't have won it.
Honestly, yeah, I could have seen the Titans going back to back.
Don't even say it. I'm now mad. Now I'm just upset. Let's not even talk about it. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Anyway, the point is, I feel like Brady's done it all, and it doesn't make sense for him to come back. Especially because, recently he's been talking about for the family and, all this stuff. I don't know if that's what he wants to do. And that's okay, because he's done it all. He doesn't have to force himself back. Do what you want to do, man. Who cares?
Yes. However, what I think is the interesting part is that I think Tom Brady. Obviously, there's two decisions, but it's like, okay, what is really factoring into it? The biggest thing factoring into this thing is his kids, because we know damn well let's say if he did not have any kids, you know damn well he would be playing for another 3 years. And yes, I said 3 years because this man was leading in passing yards. He is very well capable of playing at an elite level. I feel like even at the age of 48, I think if he didn't have kids, I think he could possibly play to 50. When he would get to 50, I think you'd see noticeable change in his game. You know, he maybe be a top 15, top 20 quarterback. He wouldn't be that top 5, top 10, top 5 that he is now. But it's literally all about his kids, about his family, and I 100% respect it, and I agree with you. He really has nothing else to prove. But I think what's really maybe tugging him is not only that family part, but like, this is his job. This is something he's been doing forever. This is something he loves. This is something that he wants to be a part of and continue to do. And we kind of briefly went over it, like where you said he could get a coaching job, where he could, still be involved with the league. But I feel like if that's the case, he might as well just continue playing. I think it's purely his family that's, tugging him away from football. And which, like I said, is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I 100% respect this decision. If he's like, it's time to hang up the helmet, hang up the cleats, let me spend my time with my family, I respect it 100%. But if he continues to play, I mean, as a Bucs fan, I'm obviously be happy. More power to him. He's still doing what he loves. And hopefully, maybe he finds a way to incorporate his family more. Maybe by inviting his kids to practice if possible, something like that. Still get them involved, still be able to see them. Maybe his kids can learn a thing or two. But honestly, I would be okay either way. Because he came into Tampa his first year. I feel like he revitalized this whole organization. Like, as a Bucs fan for the past couple of years, it's just been an absolute shit show. Nothing's gone right. Comes in first year, wins the Super Bowl. Comes in this year, brings us to the divisional round. Even after we lost, I'm just happy that he's brought us to the Super Bowl. He revitalized this whole organization. He brought life back to this organization. I've never seen the fans just so excited to watch the Bucs play again, and finally Bucs to their potential. That's the biggest thing, is their potential. So, I respect whatever Tom Brady decides to do. If he decides to retire, I'm happy for him. He's had the best career by any player. And if he decides to continue playing, more power to him. Let's get that 8th ring, baby.
Yeah, even if he does come back, he's not winning a damn Super Bowl.
This fucking man. You just don't want to see him win a Super Bowl.
Why would I want to see a guy that's won 7 Super Bowls win an 8th Super Bowl?
Because the number 8 looks cooler than 7.
No. Would you want him to win the Super? Would you want him to win the Super Bowl if he's on the Saints? All right, that's what I thought. Moving on. So.
Good point. Touche.
So now that we talked about Brady, do you think, before we continue, do you think he retires or stays?
I honestly, there is. I can't even say what he does, purely because it is that family decision. And I have not heard anything about, like, sure, the rumors and stuff like says he's retiring, but he has not shown any indication of what exactly he's going to do. So I'm going to be completely neutral in this position. But I would not mind throwing some hypothetical situations out there if he does retire or if he does stay, and what might happen with the league.
I personally think that if it was based on his performance, I think he would stay easily. I think if it was up to him, I feel like he would stay. But his family has come out multiple times, multiple years, and kind of said they're kind of ready for him to retire. Like his wife has talked about it. And he doesn't really have anything else to chase. I personally think he does retire.
If he does play, he plays for one more year, and that's it. I feel like that's what he'll do.
Yeah, I just think the time's right now, and he does his thing. But anyway. to the more impactful one, realistically.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers. So his is a little bit more tricky. Obviously, we know that in the future, in the soon future, close future, he is going to announce if he wants to return to Green Bay, retire, or if he wants to be traded to a new team, right? And we know this is going to happen. The question is, what do you think he's going to do? We're not going to go into detail right now, like if we say he's going to get traded, we're not going to say where he would go, but because realistically, we could say all this and he decides to retire and it's all waste. We're just going to talk about what makes sense for him, and then when he does make his decision, if he does decide to go to a new team, we're going to release a new video talking about what we think makes sense for him, and all of this good stuff, what his value is and all that.
I kind of want to talk about that, though. I want to talk, I want to know your top 3 teams that he would go to and why he should go to those teams.
Yeah, but I don't think he does. There's no reason to.
Well, I just want to create hypothetical situations. I'm just kind of curious because I've been thinking about this a lot, like where he could go, where he could sit there and flourish and win a Super Bowl again, win his second Super Bowl, and like I said, I just want to create hypothetical situations. I think it'd be interesting, and I'd be very interested in like your opinion, what you would think, and your opinion on what my top 3. I have rather top 4 teams that he should go to.
Okay, go ahead, because I don't know.
Okay. Top 4 teams he should go to. I'm going to tell you the 4 teams, and then I'm going to tell you in the order in which which I think is most likely going to happen. 1, Denver Broncos. That's an easy one. 2, Tampa Bay, if Tom Brady retires. 3, 49ers. And 4, Carolina Panthers. So, I want to explain all of them. Number 1 team I think he'll go to, I think it's going to be the 49ers. Why? They have a bunch of offensive weapons. They have a solid running back, and they have a great defense. And like I said, this team is literally a good passing quarterback. Just a good passing quarterback away from just winning that game last night. Just winning that Rams game. If they had Rodgers in center, they are winning that freaking game. I do not care what anybody says. You have Rodgers in the backfield. You have dynamic Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, Juszczyk, who's had some solid plays throughout the year. You've got a great offense. And also, let's not forget, this is without Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams very well could follow him. If you add Devontae Adams to that lineup, oh man, it is over. It is. I would have them winning the division. Second team I have is the Denver Broncos. Why? Because they have a bunch of young talent on their team. They have a really great defense. They have phenomenal receivers, a solid line, and they have a star running back in Javonte Williams. The only problem I have with this, Dustin, is that the division they're in. They would have to play the Raiders twice. They would have to play the Chargers twice. They would have to play Mahomes twice. Is that something you really want to do? You already know the AFC is going to be stacked as hell. Do you really go to the AFC? Or do you stay in the NFC where it's going to be an easier path compared to the AFC? What do you think? Do you think he stays in the AFC or NFC if he decides to leave?
I don't think he gets to decide. So, because it's a trade, the team ultimately decides which package is the best.
Which is true, but if
he's going to go AFC. Realistically, AFC.
Really? So
because why would the Packers give a team an opportunity, a team like Team Aaron Rodgers, and then if they meet in the playoffs, they just get smoked by Aaron Rodgers?
Okay, I could see that. I could see from a Green Bay standpoint, the.
Ideally, I just think he wants to go to I think he trusts himself more than any other quarterback in the league, so I think that he doesn't really care. I think he just wants a good team around him. I mean, he didn't run. When Brady went to the NFC, like let's not forget, he still had to play like Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson, right? Like a couple years ago, the NFC had the quarterbacks like Russell Wilson. They had what other quarterbacks of recent years?
In the NFC,
like Eli Manning, Drew Brees, like all these guys. He didn't shy away from. I think Aaron Rodgers trusts himself more than anyone. Why would he doubt himself? He's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I just like I'm not sure if this is something that Aaron Rodgers thinks about, but if he's looking for like the easiest pathway to the Super Bowl, the NFC is it. Compared to the AFC, I'm sorry, the AFC I think is significantly better than the NFC right now. Well, actually, right, I wouldn't say significantly better just yet. If Tom Brady retires, then I think it like. Actually, no, I will say significantly better, because now the Saints lost Sean Payton as well. Literally held the team together. You know, has been a great coach for the New Orleans Saints and have won the playoffs multiple times. I think from a organization standpoint, they will send him to the AFC. I think if Rodgers had to choose, he would go to the NFC. But I would not count him out going to Denver Broncos, where, like you were saying, he just wants a good team around him. Now, I still have two more teams. I think Tampa Bay would be number 3. Actually, it's tempting to put Tampa Bay number 4, because with Tampa Bay, I think what would happen is that if for whatever reason they decide to trade with Tampa Bay, I think it would bring a lot of free agents back. And I mean absolutely a lot of them. I think if it's tough, because if Rodgers does get traded to Tampa Bay, first question is, okay, what are we having to sacrifice to give him up? That's the first question. Second question is, does Godwin decide to take a pay cut, or does he go grab his money? If he decides to grab his money, does Devontae Adams come? You know what I mean? Because I think if we sign Godwin, we are signing him to at least a 4-year deal. Unless for some reason we decide to sign him to like a small 1-year, 2-year deal for however long Rodgers will be there for. But I think bringing Rodgers in would cause a lot of free agents to be willing to take pay cuts to stay with the Bucs. But let's say that doesn't happen. And this is where I have the Carolina Panthers here. The Carolina Panthers have Christian McCaffrey in the back. The Panthers have good receivers. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and I think there's one more I'm missing that I can't think of at the moment. And they have an up-and-coming defense. Mind you, this was one of the best defenses in the league too. They just had a shitty offense that could not generate anything. And they have some value in Sam Darnold that they could give to another team that is in need of a quarterback. I don't think Cam Newton's coming back. And let's not forget J.C. Horn was injured, and J.C. Horn was looking like one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He's going to be healthy next year. That's the team to watch out for. They are a quarterback away from being great. So those are my 4 teams that I personally have that Rodgers could go to. Me personally. I know it's a lot, but it's something I've been dying to talk about, because if Rodgers announces he's done with Green Bay and he's not retiring, because he's already mentioned he can play at a high level, you know, where does he go then? And that's like the biggest question. And what do you have to trade for him? All right, go ahead, Dustin. Your thoughts?
I only agree with one team you mentioned.
You don't agree with one team mentioned?
I only agree with one.
Oh, Denver Broncos?
Yeah. One thing you didn't think about the 49ers is the 49ers have no picks. They traded up to get Trey Lance. So they don't have a first rounder this year. They don't have a first rounder next year, and they don't have a first rounder after that. They cannot get Aaron Rodgers. So that's out the table.
Okay, I could see. I mean,
and they have Trey Lance. Why would they trade up to the 3rd overall pick when they're not going to get him?
I fucking keep forgetting Trey Lance exists. I'm not going to lie to you. I keep forgetting that man.
49ers ain't happening.
Never mind. Scratch the 49ers one. Okay. I keep forgetting. Yeah, no.
The Panthers, sure, I guess, but Stephon Gilmore's a free agent. Their offensive scheme, the coach hasn't been great. and the offensive scheme isn't really developed. So is Rodgers going to be interested in that? When they're all over the place, and maybe.
Well, let's not forget that Christian McCaffrey was out most of the year,
but he's out for most of the years. He's out for most of the year, every year.
Okay, which is true.
The offensive line's not great.
I mean, if we want to go in depth about that, well, I mean, they have a solid offensive line. Watching some of the Panthers game, it's a lot of quarterback play that is sucking ass. Like Sam Darnold
for sure.
Passes. Cam Newton is not the same. I think it's time for him to hang up the helmet too.
He won't be the quarterback. They're gonna draft a guy if they don't get it. If they don't get an elite guy, they're drafting a guy. But I just think that makes more sense for the young coaching. But anyway,
I think they trade. Honestly, I think they trade McCaffrey too, possibly.
It's very possible.
You trade McCaffrey to a team that needs a running back. You get some picks and you start a rebuild. Because you still have receivers. You have a young guy like J.C. Horn. Start that rebuild. Get a quarterback in place that's going to help you win games.
The Bucks one is sure it could happen, but
I think a lot of things needs to go right. A lot of things need to go right.
First of all, the Bucks have a high pick, so that might make them want more. If you look at Denver, Denver has pick 9. If you look at Carolina, Carolina has pick 8, 6, 7, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very interesting either. I don't know.
For the Green Bay organization, or
because Green Bay, if they don't like Jordan Love right now, they're gonna have to completely rebuild the roster. And this year is one of the years where they need the way the contracts are looking, it might have to be a rebuild type of year for them. You know what I mean? And I just feel like a higher pick's interesting to them. What else? Those are the 3. I like the Denver one. Denver's my number 1. Denver has the best surrounded unit. They just hired his offensive coordinator as their head coach. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They have solid offensive line, good weapons, stuff like that. I think it's number 1, pretty clear.
I think the only thing that I would say about the Denver Broncos, because after, like I said, I don't know why I keep forgetting about Trey Lance, but removing the 49ers from my list, I would also have them at number 1. My only thing is, do you really want to be in a stacked AFC? And by all means, I could see Aaron Rodgers being like you were saying, I just want a good team. I think he's very capable of beating every quarterback in the AFC. And I think it's one of the best options, one of the most viable options, and I think even from a looking at the most likely the chances of it actually happening, I think it's going to be highest, just because of not only Denver having capital, possibly even afford Adams, but also having the capital of picks to trade to the Packers for Rodgers as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that just makes the most sense, I feel like.
I agree.
But I think also, if you look at it this year, Joe Burrow beat those guys.
Who?
Joe Burrow beat those level of quarterbacks. Yes, Joe Burrow's a lead, but are you taking Joe Burrow or Aaron Rodgers this next year?
I would
just for next year.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, just for next year, Aaron Rodgers. Respectfully.
They have an O-line, and that's the biggest thing, is they have an O-line. You give Aaron Rodgers time, and let's just say, theoretically, if Rodgers and Devontae Adams both to Denver, they're my Super Bowl favorite.
My number 2 is Pittsburgh.
I hear that so much.
I think it makes too much sense. They have weapons. They have Claypool. They have Deontay Johnson. Juju has talked about maybe wanting to come back. They have Najee Harris. They have a good defense. I would only say maybe they have Pat Freiermuth at tight end. I would only say maybe improve a little bit more on the offensive line. That's one thing I would say. But they have the picks. They have the team. They have a good defense. It makes a lot of sense. They're also we thought it was a strong division. Cincinnati's really good. Baltimore is good, but it was hurt a lot last year. Cleveland is in their own question mark. I think Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. I would love to say Tennessee here, but I don't think Tennessee has enough cap. I don't think they're going to be able to get rid of Tannehill for that and get Rodgers. I don't think, unfortunately. So my dark horse. This is going to be a little...
I want to say
okay.
I want to say one thing real quick on the Pittsburgh thing. The only reason, there's two reasons why I don't think Pittsburgh will happen. Now, I could very well see, like, based off the things you said on how it could happen. There's two things. I think the atmosphere there. We know how Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool are with the whole TikTok shit. I am not sure Aaron Rodgers will be able to stand that. And personally, I don't know if he will. But I'm just saying, like, this is just a theoretical thing. I'm not saying this is true. I'm not sure, I'm just saying that it could potentially play a role in his desire to play there. I think it would be a great place to play there. If he doesn't give a shit about the TikTok shit that, Smith Schuster and Chase Claypool do that. I think it's a solid spot too. There was something else I was going to mention. The only thing I would say, and the second thing I would say, is that, like, I feel like Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are definitely teaming up to go somewhere together, and that's like. Do you think? I'm not sure what the Steelers' cap spaces look like, but do you think the Steelers are going to have the money to also afford him? They could move on from Juju, bring in Adams, and I personally would like that. That would be an incredible fucking offense. It'd be a scary offense, and that defense is already as good as it is.
Look, this is what I think. Rodgers is getting traded. They can say what he wants, whatever he wants, like, oh, I like this team better than this team, and maybe Green Bay agrees because he's been done so good to them. Right. But at the end of the day, if only one team gives them a good enough package, they're going to take that damn package. Pittsburgh can take the damn package. Pittsburgh does not have a quarterback on the roster. They have the most cap space in the league, I believe.
See, but that's the thing. Like, Devontae Adams doesn't have to go with Rodgers.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And even if he does, he ain't getting $30 million.
No, I don't think so. I think
he ain't getting. He said apparently he wants $30 million a year. He ain't getting that with Rodgers. He ain't getting that in general, probably. But anyway, my point is that if he wants to play with Rodgers, and they know he wants to play with Rodgers, he's gonna have to take a pay cut. You're gonna have to take a goddamn pay cut. Respectfully, you're gonna have to take a pay cut, and that's just the truth. So if he wants to play with Rodgers, he's taking a pay cut. If he doesn't want to play with Rodgers, then he's going somewhere else. He's gonna take whatever team gives him the most money. But that's how it is at the end of the day for him. So the whole whatever. Like if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's whatever. So I think that's still a good fit. I would say Tennessee here, because I think that if Tennessee had Aaron Rodgers, they're the Super Bowl favorite in the AFC. My opinion.
I agree.
But I don't think they have the money because Tannehill is too big of a contract and it's just not going to be possible. So this is my dark horse. My team that I'm not sure if they will.
Can I take a guess? I want to take a guess.
Sure.
Hold on. Is AFC or NFC?
AFC.
AFC. I think that you are going to say either the Raiders or Indianapolis Colts.
The Las Vegas Raiders. Here's the truth. Packers don't like Jordan Love. Here's Derek Carr. He's still not terribly old. You can take Derek Carr, build around him for a little bit, get some time with him. Fine. Give him Aaron Rodgers, get a couple picks from the Raiders. The Raiders are restarting. I don't know if you know, the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels yesterday.
Yes, as head coach, correct?
Yep, head coach. And a new GM as well. Rodgers lives in Vegas. Big city. And he has some weapons. He has Waller, he has Renfro. Defense played all right. Obviously, it's not the best roster right away. Not the most ideal roster. But you could pull some guys your way. You have a smart offensive-minded guy that's coming in to be the coach. A general manager that has been rumored to really put together that New England team last year. He apparently put a lot of the pieces to New England last year, and look at New England this year. So I think Vegas could do it. I could see some interest there in Vegas. I mean, I really could. And they have some really big Max Crosby, that type of sort. So I think that could be my hot take. I don't know their cap space, but I know that if they trade Derek Carr probably makes close to the same money, so they could probably do it.
Josh Jacobs, let's not forget about
Josh Jacobs, yeah, of course. Like I said, Waller, Renfro. They got
One more receiver.
Well, yeah, they have like Edward, like Brian Edwards, I think. They have Zay Jones, who played really good in the playoffs. They have, like I said, Max Crosby. They have Yannick Ngakoue. They have the likes of Devon Diablo. Who's the safety out of TCU? I see his face right now. I don't know. They also have a really young safety I really like as well. So they have the piece. Obviously, it's not the best roster right away, but I think it's a package that might interest Green Bay. And I think it's a team that Rodgers wouldn't be against. But like I said, it's also the same boat as the only negative to it really is there's two negatives. In comparison to one negative with Denver is Denver's in that division. The two negatives is they're in that with Vegas is they have that division. And also the roster isn't the best right away. Like it isn't a top tier roster. So that's what I would say, yeah.
One thing I would like to say as well is I could see that happening only if Rodgers is like on a 4-year contract over there. Like if he like decides to stay there for 4 years, because if Rodgers is in a win-out situation, he's definitely not going there. But if he's willing to go through the maybe year or two of having to build that roster, then I could definitely see it happen.
And that's why I said dark horse, is because I don't really think it will happen, but there's some interesting aspects to it. There really is.
I feel like Derek Carr is highly valued.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to give up as much draft picks as long as you have Derek Carr in that trade.
But that trade will only work. That trade will only work if Green Bay wants Carr. If they like Jordan Love and they want to continue to develop with Jordan Love, then maybe that's the best for them, and they won't like that trade because they don't want Derek Carr. And the Denver trade can't happen because they can't afford to have Carr and Rodgers on the same roster. Maybe. But I'm just saying, like, that is a possibility.
It would be like, why would you do that though? You know what I mean? You have two quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah, you can't do that if they don't trade Carr at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. There was one thing I was going to say here, and it also depends because one thing I could see the Packers doing is Jordan Love has not been impressive whatsoever when he has played games. So what they could do, and this is another dark horse, they could trade him to the Indianapolis Colts. They could bring Carson Wentz in to compete with Jordan Love. This is just a possibility. I have not really thought much outside of this, so I'm just kind of thinking on top of my head here. I'm not sure what the Colts draft picks are looking like either. The Colts send over a first-round draft pick, maybe a second-round draft pick as well. Trade Carson Wentz over. They get Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we already know that Indianapolis Colts have a solid team. You got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. You have Michael Pittman. I think T.Y. Hilton's still there too as well. They have a really great defense. I mean, that's another spot, and I honestly think they're more set up in Indianapolis than they are in Las Vegas. But it just depends on what the Packers are going to do. Are they 100% in Jordan Love, or are they going to sit there, bring another quarterback in?
Yeah, but Carson Wentz and Derek Carr are two very different levels.
Right, which is true.
And if you trade Carson Wentz, you still have to give up 2 firsts, at least.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I could see that.
If it's Derek Carr, then it's like, okay, that's like a top 12 quarterback. If you think he's top 10, fine. If you don't think he's top 10, at least he's for sure top 12, right? Top 13 in the league in comparison to Carson Wentz, who's what?
Top like 25?
Yeah,
top 20. Top 20.
I mean,
I'd
arguable unless you. I mean, you gotta. I guess you have to keep like the likes of the rookies this year. Like you can't put Trevor Lawrence, but I would take Trevor Lawrence over Carson Wentz.
This year?
Not this year, because obviously, but I'm saying like overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson showed promise at the end of the year. I don't know, but still, I will say top 20 for sure.
I would say maybe even top 15. He wasn't like
top 15. Stop.
He had solid stats.
He also sold them in the 2 most important games of the year.
Look, that's very true. But listen.
Couldn't beat Tennessee. Nah, man. Sorry, I can't do it. Not top 15.
Carson Wentz or Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill.
What?
Ryan Tannehill won a playoff game. Ryan Tannehill's also won the division.
Okay, but
Ryan Tannehill also beat him twice. In one of those games, Derrick Henry broke his foot.
Look.
I'm taking Ryan Tannehill. I don't care. Not saying Ryan Tannehill's much better, but come on now.
Statistically looking here, 3,734 passing yards.
All right, where was AJ Brown? Where was Julio Jones? Where was Derrick Henry?
Real quick. 21 passing touchdowns, 14 interceptions, opposed to Carson Wentz, 3,563 yards, 27 passing touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And I understand that you guys have had injuries, but I'm sorry. Like, I just, like, Tannehill, I feel like, is more of a game manager. I will say one thing. Towards the end of the year, he was looking like a quarterback that is going to be slinging in the playoffs. Oh, but trust me, he was slinging just to the wrong team. Ain't that right?
This is ridiculous. That is no, you are blasphemous. I'm sorry, I cannot agree.
What?
There is no way. You're telling me you're building a roster right now. You're taking Carson Wentz over Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill with his weapons. Come on now, dude. Don't do this with me. We're not having this conversation.
Okay, what happened against the Bengals then?
I'm not. What do you think Carson Wentz would have done? Carson Wentz couldn't even play the Bengals, so he couldn't make it.
Carson Wentz would have done better than 3 interceptions.
All right, guys, this is the end of the video. This is the end of the podcast. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This is crazy.
7 interceptions opposed to 14.
Listen,
and that's in the regular season. And the postseason, that makes it a total of 17.
All right, guys. Look, that's the end of the podcast. There's no argument. I'm sorry. There's no argument.
I'm just gonna casually put my glasses.
All right, this is the end of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out our quiz video we posted earlier. Check out our TikToks, all that other stuff.
I want y'all in the comment section below. Carson Wentz or Tannehill?
Yes, Carson Wentz or Tannehill in the comment section down below. Also, let us know about other video ideas you guys want to see in the off season, stuff like that. Go do all that fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that. And we will see you guys next time. See ya.
Alrighty, guys.